Allow me to complain about your meditation.
Okay, go ahead.
You're sharing something that cannot be taught.
So it can be appreciated.
Yes, indeed. Yes. And there's lots of appreciation here. And it's just so interesting. I feel at home, but the feeling is just the effect of being home.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Such a mystery. And how easy it is to get entangled in all of this me chat.
Right, right. It is easy. But I think over time, as you're contemplating, like you've done, for many years, uh, it becomes more and more clear for you that the entanglement is not like a direction that really speaks to you. And actually, the entanglement, the occasions for entertainment become less and less, and the entanglement less and less complex and less powerful and of shorter duration. I don't know. Is that your experience as well?
Uh, yeah, yeah.
In other words, like when you look back on how you were a few years ago and how you're now, the things that uh, used to trigger me a few years ago, now it's like, oh, I'm an asshole. Oh, okay, all right. I'm not gonna go and punch somebody in the face. At least that's my experience. How is it for you?
Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, if things are easier and I couldn't explain it, but there's lots of harmony. And yeah, I can see how really suffering or unhappiness is really just unexamined thoughts.
Hmm.
That's all. Believing things, believing my own thinking to be
Right.
real.
Yeah, believing that the I that appears in the thoughts is the real me.
Yeah.
Uh, Sometimes in our ignorance, thought always refers to I or to me as being what I really and truly am, at some point you start seeing through it. You know what I mean?
I have like phases, like, I don't know, months or something, where I have then again an experience as if I'm dying or something psychologically, like an extreme,
Mm-hmm.
like being at the edge again. And I get more and more comfortable with just dying. I mean, dying to my pride, dying to my expectations, dying to my attachments, dying to my ideas of what it means to survive in this world. And this is so amazing.
Yeah,
What so much love in life.
yeah. It's a sort of an emptying or a shedding of structures, various
Yeah,
structures.
very good. Really nice seeing you, Magdi.
Good to see you too, Holger.
Yes, thank you for this opportunity to say hello.
Oh, it's lovely to say hello to you.
Hey, Holger, could you say something else? Could you at the end there, you said so much love in life. Do you want to say some more about where you're coming from?
Uh, Bill, don't complain about my comment. Just joking. Um, what I experience as problems is just my own judgment, my own identity as a me that creates the friction and the suffering. Like love being just our normal state, the ground of being, and then just by this me identity, I just create all this drama and trouble and pain and expectation. Something like this.
Yeah, the way I relate to that is that I notice that it's a with it's a withholding. I withhold my love. It it's easy to have we call them entanglements, but I'm thinking like we have these carve outs. So Magdi says, "Welcome yourself, welcome everything in your experience." And we go like, "Yeah, that's right, man. That's cool. I get that, but not that, you know. Like you call me an asshole. Oh no, I hate you, right? But who pays the price for that? I pay the price.
Mhm.
It's like I remember reading this biography of Ernest Hemingway. His parents used to this macho guy. They used to dress him up in a dress, put dresses on him as a kid, and in anticipation of being punished for something he did wrong, he would carry a stick with him, and he would as a toddler, and he would hit himself with a stick before the parents would. And it's like it seems like that. Like something comes in, and then I hit myself. I punish myself as a way of addressing this so-called disagreeable situation. Like, why am I biting myself? You know?
Yeah, makes sense.
I think that deep down we don't like to be diminished. Like as a tiny child, we are the universe. I mean, we're not defined yet, but throughout our life we get defined by our parents, by our society. Be like this, don't be like that. Oh, you are a good this, you're a bad that, and that's one level at which we're unhappy. We're deeply unhappy to be diminished. And it's unavoidable. That's part of the lila. Uh, and we hate that. We don't know how to get out of it because the structures get set up in our mind, in our body. We are this. We're a limited being, and these structures are unhappy. And so we're powerless in front of in facing this sense of me, this sense of separation. We're powerless, and so we're unhappy, and we can't live with unhappiness. We need coping mechanisms. So we learn how to cope in various ways. Avoidance, addictions, to sort of feel the pain less, or blaming and uh, getting our body mind busy. Let's get busy. This is sort of like a common human condition. The other aspect of our why do we flagellate ourselves, like you were asking, Bill? Is because of also particular trauma that we experience in our youth. Again, in relationship with our parents or relationship with school or whatever, life at a young age, that we're mistreated, or we witness events that are really awful, very painful, and we're powerless to do anything about them. And so we need to somehow survive this powerlessness, and also we develop some coping mechanisms, which we play out throughout our whole life. They're part of our patterns of behavior, our patterns of safeguarding. What are we safeguarding? We're safeguarding. Well, it's the love that we are. Our basic nature is not acknowledged, because it's in our nature. When we see a child that's crying, to go to them, to tell them, "Hey, sweetheart, what's the problem? Why are you crying?" Or when we notice somebody who's like witnessed a shocking experience, we go to them to comfort them. It's in our nature to be loving, and to express the love, right? And so that's really what we would like to return to, in a way. But it's somehow a long path for us to reconnect with our true nature, with the heart, with the love, because of the traumas. Like there are moments where we're really terrified as a young child, and we need the comfort, we need the healing, we need the repair, but it's not provided to us for whatever reason. I'm not going to blame anybody. It's not provided to us. Our parents are busy in something else, or our teachers they have no time for us, and we're left with that trauma, and something in us is frozen, and our mind is racing, is agitated, and we're unable to. We're not being helped to heal this nervous agitation. So we're on our own with it. As a child, we don't have the capacity to. We don't know how to heal that. So it's something that we live with. We focus on pursuing other venues, or we cope in various ways. I mean, look at our society's addiction with worldly things, worldly possessions, or addiction to getting ahead, or addiction to being somebody. I mean, all these are societal wounds that are not healed, that require healing. But again, I mean, the healing can only occur at my level. I can only work on my own healing, and of course help each other here as friends, and sharing and exploring together.
But then this paradox that on one level, all of those are just mental models, and on one level, we are already whole and complete.
Yeah, of course. You're talking about the awakening. That's an important aspect of our healing. I mean, to awaken to our true self. Yeah, that all of these events are they don't really define what we truly are. Yes, you're right. And it's an important leg to stand on in the process of processing this human experience. But also, once you turn your attention to, okay, I've got the understanding, and what else is happening in my life? Because you still are, here. I mean, you're still waking up in the morning. You have, I don't know, you may have work, you may have kids, you may have payment to whatever there is, relationships, disappointments, expectations, or whatever. We don't know. There is also there are patterns of meeting that, some old patterns, and hopefully in the awakening process, as you mentioned, a lot of these patterns have sort of dropped, but in my experience, it's not 100% of the dropping. There are still there's still some work that needs to be done. I mean, again, and that's my experience. I don't know, maybe your experience is different, Holger, in terms of
And that the patterns on one level, they don't matter. They're just an invitation again to turn our attention around.
yeah, they are an invitation, but uh, talking for myself, I mean, when I'm playing out my pattern of, oh, you wounded me, you hurt me, for example, in a relationship, uh, why did you do this? I mean, I'm a good guy, I didn't do anything to you. I mean, the defensive, for example, approach, that has an echo. That's putting out in the space my upsetness, and then the other person is upset, and then now their process is kicking in. I think you're talking from the absolute level. Yes, they don't matter. I understand what you're saying. Uh, but at the same time, there is the lila, the game that's going on. There's still a relationship going on. There's still life going on, right? I mean,
But it becomes more playful. The contractedness
yeah,
relaxes.
that's beautiful. When it becomes more playful for you, for me, for example, when it becomes more playful for me, then I realize, oh, gee, I mean,
Yeah.
why should I put up a venom? Why should I don't, play the blame game, for example, and get the other people to be, because although you're taking it playfully, it doesn't mean everybody else is, right? So in a relationship, for example, uh, it's better not to play the blame game, because then you're going to trigger the other person to defensive, and the fear of, now they're being accused. Uh, so yeah, you take it lightly, but you also there's also a shift from acting from your patterns to a different way of relating, from a different place, from a different understanding. Does it make sense when
Yeah, not to be identified, invested in the patterns, to see that they arise, but then to direct look again to whom do they arise, and then awareness can relax into the openness of the love of this moment.
That's great. If it works that way, that's beautiful.
No, theoretically,
No,
theoretically.
no, no. I mean, no, no. It could be.
Yeah, yeah,
I,
yeah.
I'm not. Yeah,
No,
I'm
no, no.
with you, of course. If
Yeah.
yeah, if somehow, there is coming to your understanding about your true self and the tendency to blame, for example, to go into the pattern is seen and relaxes, don't deal that their activity isn't there.
And there comes again then this willingness or this readiness to die into the picture. Because then I'm not invested in the moment. And it feels from the egoic viewpoint, it feels like I'm dying if there's then this shame, embarrassment, but if it can just be allowed and
Yeah, right. So if I understand you correctly, correct me if I'm not, but you sort of experience the feeling and you experience it in such a way that you die in it. In other words, you're not standing apart from it, and you want to fix it or do something about, for example, the feeling of the experience of shame, the emotion of shame. You're like totally die in the emotion of shame. Then the emotion of shame isn't a problem. That's something that you have to sort of act out or fix or anything like that. It sort of dies into your dying. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, something like this. Like, yes.
Yeah. Uh, right. But then you're right. Then you experience of shame because you somehow die into it. Is that experience is also that feeling, that emotion is also dead.
Yeah.
So just to put my own words just around this dying into the emotion. Uh, what I do when like an emotion arises is to sort of go into the body and feel it completely, sort of like, okay, like reveal yourself completely, to be completely there. And to the extent that either I really don't know what it is, or if my mind is still labeling it fear, to look at what's behind the fear. And when I ask myself what's behind the fear, I may come upon, oh, I may, and I have on occasion come upon, oh, wow, that's an old pattern of whenever I'm meeting a certain type of experience, whenever I'm perceiving that things aren't appearing the way I want them to appear, or my partner isn't acting in the way I want them to act, I feel unloved and I experienced fear of abandonment behind the scene. And I can see that, wow, that's an old pattern that I've lived, I can trace it all the way back to my mom and dad, or plus the school, the boarding school where I was. And so I see, wow, I'm carrying this pattern in this moment, in this relationship, and it's a pattern that I carry in many different relationships, in many different situations. So in understanding that, in seeing that, it ceases to be about what my partner did. And I realize it's just an old pattern that's playing itself out. And
A loop.
a loop, right? But this loop, without seeing that it's playing itself out, says, "Oh, you are doing something wrong, and you're upsetting me." While behind the scene, I'm just experiencing sense of abandonment, fear of an old fear that has to do with being abandoned or being powerless or being unloved. And I'm just projecting it right now on this situation just because I have expectation also of how I want you to behave, how I want you to appear to me, how I want you to dance. Anyways, it's an interesting direction because to look into, because it's how we live irrespective of our understanding about our true nature, how we're living in relationship to ourselves, to others, to the world, with our patterns that are old patterns that have old echoes that are unseen, are undigested.
But to then look at those patterns and not to get stuck in thinking about them. I mean, to look through them in a way.
But to see, to come to see that, oh, I understand. I understand why I'm like really scared of you. I understand it now because there is that the scared child, the scared, the scary, that fearful person in the background that isn't loved, hasn't been loved.
And to
And
see that it's not a problem.
well, it is not a problem as long as this child that hasn't been loved and that is calling for love is not acting out in relationship, getting upset at others, getting offended, then you're right, it's not a problem. But if I'm acting out as, oh yeah, you're really hurting me and you're offending me and you need to change, then it's a problem.
I think, if you don't mind me saying, I think even just to see it is a victory.
Oh yeah, to see it's a victory.
To have the ability to kind of mm, cut through all what your ego or whatever is trying to tell you, and to cut to the chase, as it were, and to really kind of have an awareness of what's going on in the background.
Yeah. The more there is like I don't know, like interest in seeing what's behind the scene and bringing, as you say, light or awareness or some understanding, some clarity, some interest in exploring. Wait a minute, maybe there is something else that's going on besides you're being bad to me. There's something else going on that an interest in looking and bringing awareness to what may possibly be behind the scene.
But if we then just tell another story, then we are again stuck in the same pattern.
What do you mean? Can you say more about saying a story?
If we make, I mean, it's inquiry is not about the object we are looking at. It's about the one aware of the object. It's just so easy to get into a rabbit hole and then because the mind can be so sneaky and tricky, and it's difficult when you're alone or something to lose actually your clarity, what you're really looking at, that you're not interested in the pattern and its reasoning and why, blah, 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 but in the one who suffers the pattern, who believes to be affected by it.
Yeah, both. If again, if your inquiry into who is it that is suffering, if that question brings an end to your reactivity or to your patterns and brings you into happy relationships, then bingo, uh, that's fine. It's just that what I'm sharing is that in my experience, the inquiry into who is it that is suffering which is crucial, inquiry that I've been talking about for years, awakening to your true self as this formless awareness. In my experience, that is, although that is a crucial, central path of exploration and awakening to it, doesn't fully integrate our human experience. And of course, I'm not, encouraging relying on the mind to explore. No, but more than relying on the mind, it's more like being interested in exploring. And exploration doesn't mean thinking about things or recollecting things. No. The interest in what's behind the scene, what's going on, it interests in itself. The interest leads you. Not or let me think about it. You may be interested in thinking also about it, but your interest in why do I keep, why is there disharmony right now in my relationship? Let's take a look. Why is there disharmony in my relationship? Maybe there isn't. If there isn't, the question doesn't arise. But in case there is, why? What is that about? What's going on? I know myself to be the self. I know all is consciousness. Why is there upsetness, or why is there? And we can justify that. Say, "Oh, I'm upset because the other person is a douchebag, or because the other person isn't awakened to their true nature." Of course, I mean, if that makes you happy and it solves things for you, so be it. It just doesn't do it for me. I don't buy into that argument that, oh well, I'm awakened and enlightened, therefore the reason why I'm suffering is because the others are douchebags. I don't buy that. When there is something that's upsetting, what's going on here? What is going on? And you are right. In some cases, it is it's just energy that you're picking up from somebody else. That they're agitated, and you're sort of feeling their agitation. That can happen. Through the mirroring.
Magdi, I don't buy it either, because here's an example. The other person, let's just say, is certifiably a douchebag. They even have like the plaque on the wall, right? Says you're a douchebag.
Douchebag of
certified.
The year.
Huh?
The douchebag of the year.
Yeah, exactly. For life. And it's only when I withhold my love for that person that it matters. It doesn't matter that he's a douchebag if I let him be a douchebag. So going back to the part about not feeling loved, I think this is a really this may be the gist of all the suffering. Like I'm not being loved in this situation. But from my experience is that it's always it's a mirror, it's a projection. Okay, let me be more specific. The problem is not that I am not loved. The problem is that I don't love. The douchebag does something, and then I say, I cannot love that.
Yeah.
I reject everything that you open your meditation with. I go, no, no, no. That's the carve out.
Right.
I accept all my experience except for douchebag.
Right. And that's a good question. Like why, then look, why don't I love that? It's not like I'm stupid or anything like that. There must be a reason why I'm not loving that. I'm not loving this douchebag. Why? So I take a look at that. And in just taking a look at that, I may find that is an aspect of myself that I don't love. There's something within me, there's something within me that I don't love that is being reflected out there, in this douchebag. In other words, uh, uh, in not fully loving myself, I cannot love this person, this douchebag.
Yeah, and
It makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, and there's a problem in the way I set it up. I set it up in an extreme fashion, and like this guy was a certified douchebag. In reality, when I explore behavior that I deem to be douchebag, when I explore it sincerely and openly and question it, I find that it's in very rare cases. I don't want to be absolutist, but it it doesn't hold up. The idea that he's a douchebag, even if he has a certificate, I look at it and it's like, wait a second, this is not right. He's not what I'm thinking he is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. Right.
And I go back to my parents, to the childhood, to the so-called traumas and whatnot. And when I've revisited them spaciously, I just see that there was a child who didn't have any access to the kind of perspectives that we discuss here, and who then just rejected that experience, had to, just terror and just reject. And then we call that a trauma.
Yeah, and also that child was exposed to parents or was in relationship with parents and social caretakers who were not available or maybe didn't have the skills to or didn't have the understanding about providing the child the love that he needed, the safety that he needed. So who's going to fix that?
Yeah.
And I think I'm the one who's going to fix that.
Right.
I'm going to fix it now by loving
Uh-huh.
by loving the child, loving the wounds, owning and recognizing, okay, yeah, so this it's just aspect of myself that's wounded, that's hurt, and that I send love to and I embrace, rather than playing the game of, oh yeah, I don't fucking like the way you're appearing to me. I don't like your face. I don't like how you're talking to me. I don't like how you're appearing to me. No. I mean, instead of playing that game, of finding somebody out there that I can throw mud at in order to feel good. Okay, wow, I'm good. I hit him right in the face. I'm going to turn inward to acknowledge, yeah, there are hurts here that I'm unable to heal and love and own, and therefore I'm acting them out in my life. I'm acting like this hurt child, and how dare you speak to me this way? How how dare you not give me the love that I'm giving you?
Not in that moment. Not in that moment.
It's an interesting exploration. I know it's. I mean, I hear what you, Holger, what you're sharing. I mean, I hear you, but I think there is an interesting exploration not to overlook, because again, we're not here solely to fix the dream. Good luck. Good luck trying to fix the dream without the awakening. You need also to have the understanding that the entire realm is God's play, and you're invited to understand that the entire realm is God's play, and that you are that, and there is no duality, and you're invited to also heal that, come to a place where the garden is the Garden of Eden, where you are in the Garden of Eden, and your experience is happy. If you're in the Garden of Eden, heck, you're happy.
Hi, Magdi.
Hello, Jenny.
Well, I just wanted to say that when one feels completely the sensation in the body of the reaction, generally that sensation talks by itself without, or in other words, brings the pain of the child without needing too much thought. Just becoming aware that the pain comes from within and is not the other person, the culprit. So I think that just brings, and I was thinking with all this conversation that it is so important that if the love for the truth and the love for the love is bigger than the love for that false I, then it things clear up. That's what I was.
Yeah. Let me just sit with it for a second. Yeah. I think that our love for truth is very, very important, but also also in the development of the self, in the development of the ego, the ego develops, in being unloved, being judged, being punished. So the entire structures of resistance and rebellion and we're seeking an inner peace that is revealed to us on one hand in realizing that we are the same consciousness, but it's also realized in finding a way to live loving, first recognizing our inner wounds, the inner child that's hurt, that's abandoned, that's unloved, and loving it. There is some work that needs to be done in that direction as well.
But what I meant is that in face of the reaction, when the reaction of the personal I comes, then feeling it completely is revealing itself. You know, that's my experience. If
Yeah.
I feel it completely, it will reveal my own hurts. Then I'm ready to let go and to see the identification more easily, because it's kind of the love for truth in that moment wins.
Yeah.
Yeah. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes,
I
yes,
am talking in the face of the reaction, in the moment of the reaction,
yes.
not in,
So
you know,
so you're experiencing an emotion, like a certain reactivity, a certain hurt,
yeah,
for example,
yeah,
and
yeah,
you feel, you go to that feeling, to that emotion, and you just allow it to, you're there with it. You're there, fully there. You're not
yes,
moving away in your thoughts about it, right?
yes, yes.
And then what is the rest you were saying? And then what?
Well, then that not moving from there reveals what's the origin.
That's not my experience. No, no. I,
The psychological,
I'm not saying that I'm right and you're
I'm
wrong.
saying the psychological origin, not
Yes.
the psychological origin. Well, for me, is revealed there.
Yeah,
No.
right. Let me just say something, share my experience
Yes.
about this. Uh, so, so you turn your attention to the emotion and you just stay there. You're experiencing fully the emotion as best you can without acting, without reacting or acting out.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, And if I'm understanding correctly, you're saying that in itself will reveal the identification. That is not my experience.
No,
Uh,
not the identification, the hurt of the child. I mean, let's say you have a reaction, you don't know exactly why you are reacting like that, because it's an overreaction.
mm,
But then if you fully experience it, well, for me, it reveals itself, the hurt. Of
yeah,
course, you are seeing it's an identification,
yeah.
but
You know,
not, but it doesn't reveal the. I mean, then you have to do more questioning about how there is an identification, but the hurt of the child is revealed without thinking too much. That's what I was trying to
yeah,
say.
yeah, yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. No, I ask myself the question, what is behind this hurt? First, I go to the hurt, I just stay still with it, then I ask myself, what's behind it? What is it about?
No, I don't ask that because it feels like abandonment. It feels like lack of love. It
Whatever,
feels
and
like
whatever. I mean,
already it feels some.
let's say that it feels like abandonment. Okay, I feel like I'm abandoned. Okay, okay, okay. I feel like I'm abandonment. Well, what's behind that? Oh, I shouldn't be abandoned. I shouldn't be abandoned. Okay, I shouldn't be abandoned. And so I'm feeling abandoned. Why am I feeling abandoned? I take a look at that, and I took a look at that, and I found that I saw that I had expectations of how I wanted the other person to be, how I wanted the other person to be. And if they were like I wanted them to be, then I would be okay. Okay. So okay, well, I'm feeling abandoned because he or she didn't dance the way I wanted them to dance. All right. So I saw that, but that wasn't satisfactory. It's like, oh, okay, then I need to place conditions on the other, and then I'll be okay. And say, okay, that's not satisfactory for me. Then, okay, and I look behind. Okay, Okay, fine, that's not satisfactory. Why am I feeling abandoned? Well, I don't know.
Well, you know,
Maybe I don't know. No, let me finish. Maybe I don't know. Okay, if I don't know, fine. Can I accept? Can I accept feeling abandoned? Can I be okay with feeling abandoned?
yes, yes, yes,
So
yes, yes.
I say, okay, well, no, I can't. Fuck no. I don't want to feel abandoned. Well, okay. So what's your solution? Well, my solution, she shouldn't act this way, or he shouldn't act this way. Well, good luck. Good luck with that solution because it's not going to work. They're free. They are free to do whatever they want to do. I don't know. They're free. So, holy shit. I have no control, right? So what's left for me? I gotta be, then I come back to, can I be okay with being abandoned, feeling abandoned?
Yes.
So, so, and,
What?
and, and sometimes say, okay, well, what's behind feeling abandoned? And
What
it appeared to me, is speaking of myself, I know I'm monologuing, but allow me, please. Uh, what came to me is, oh, I've been put in boarding school when I was 6 until the age of 16. My parents would visit me twice a year or 3 times a year. That's fucking abandonment. Excuse my lingo. That's freaking abandonment.
That's freaking abandonment.
Freaking abandonment. Okay. Uh, I had to deal with struggles in my family between my mom and my dad when I was a young boy. And they were too busy with their own struggles to really love me. I mean, plus they had 6 boys. So, so it makes sense for me to feel to feel pissed at the world. I'm pissed at you. I'm pissed at you because you're not making me happy now. You're not making me happy now. Because you know what? I've been carrying this unhappiness for 50 years. All right. And it's up to you now to make me happy, and you're not doing it. So you're no good. But of course, that's nonsense because my unhappiness and my feeling of abandonment is for me to resolve. And for me to resolve, I have to first accept it. Okay, fine. There is an abandonment pattern in or lack of love or whatever it is in my pattern in my psyche. And I'm looking for the resolution of that in my life. I'm looking for the resolution of that from my partner, from my co-workers, from God knows who. I'm looking for the resolution. And there's no way I'm going to get a resolution out of others because they're free. I have no control over them. The only place for me is to love myself and be okay with having been abandoned and not loved. We all suffer in one way or the other, in one degree or another, from the same ailment. I mean, maybe it's not abandonment, whatever it is. We all have. We know we have. So I come to accepting it, acknowledging it. Say, okay, fine. You know, this is not a machine that already came out of the factory. This is not a brand new 2027 auto. It's an old model. Okay, I accept it. I love it. I, I don't hold any grief against my parents or against, they did the best they could. And I stop playing the game of blaming the world, asking the world to fix me. Thank you for giving me all this time to say, and I'm sorry for having interrupted you a few times. So
But
just
I don't think that's anything different than what Jenny's saying. She's just saying it more simply. I think there's also a difference between the way men and women process psychological experiences and traumas. Women are more encouraged to feel their feelings. So they come out ahead in a lot of cases, unless they have heavy addiction problems, in experiencing and simplifying that process. It's a little bit smarter psychologically. That's my experience or understanding. It's the discouraged boys suffer from, at least in this country. I think it's all over the world, from having too high expectations for them in terms of feelings. They're not supposed to feel. They're not supposed to cry. All those things those are additional woundings, expectations from society. Has nothing to do with relationships, but definitely forms the psyche, the personality, in a certain way. I understood what Jenny was saying to you. She may not have been able to say it the way you said it because you have it broken down into the way you process.
Right.
But Jenny, tell me if I'm wrong. Did you have
Yes, it's like, you know, I've been working with this also because I am a psychologist. So if
Okay,
I
well, there you go.
if I feel abandoned, I already know
Sorry.
it's a hurt of. I already know directly, chung. It's a hurt of my childhood, and so I just completely feel it and love my child feeling abandoned or whatever the feeling is. And of course, I'm not going to ask it from outside because, I mean, it's ridiculous to ask it from outside.
Right.
So it's a direct road just to completely feel that. And I think the question of uh, about the identification is important at a certain moment because of course that's completely leaving the identification part. But I already know it's the child, immediately. I don't have to ask much. I already know if I'm reacting, it is mine. It is not the other.
Yeah, that's good. Because
And it's
I mean,
our age also. We're all, getting up there. So we've
Yes,
learned by now not to expect,
yes,
you learn you're happier if you have few expectations. Right?
yeah.
So,
Magdi, about the abandonment in boarding school. Being sent to boarding school was the best thing that ever happened to me because I got away from those crazy fuckers.
exactly. Totally get that.
So I only got abandoned for 4 years. You got to be abandoned for what, 16 years. You hit the jackpot, dude.
Lucky bastard I am.
Really.
Well,
Yeah, being a latchkey child wasn't too bad either.
yeah.
oh,
Hmm.
I
it
have
is
to
so
eat dinner now. I'm
it
sorry.
is
I have
it
Yeah.
to
is so
leave.
beautiful. It is so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Well,
Yeah, that
okay.
was great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you all. Okay. Enjoy your
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
dinner. Yes.